Faithful Ewe knitting podcast. My name's Hazel and I'm coming to you from mid Wales in the United Kingdom. It's a beautiful day here today. The sun's out, as you can see. I'm sat under the shade of the umbrella because it was too bright on the camera, and I thought I'd come outside while the weather's absolutely beautiful and do a podcast for you so you can listen to all the sights and sounds and noise of the wildlife around my home in Wales. So I thought it might be nice and relaxing for you while we go through my knitting projects. I'm sat up by the barn, which is where I'm hoping to have my weaving loom at some point. I've got a floor loom. I'm hoping that at some point it's going to be in this barn here. So I thought it'd be nice to do the podcast up here, because this is where hopefully in the long run I'm going to be doing my podcast from. So down there behind me is a path that leads back down into the car parking area at the front of the house. So yeah, so that's where I am in the garden. To any of you who are regular viewers on my other channel at Wildwood Cottage Diary, I do a lot of garden tours on that channel and talk about my garden. I talk about stuff in the house, frugal living, all that kind of thing. But this channel here is predominantly knitting, and sometimes talk to you about my spinning, my weaving, my crochet. It all depends as to what I find and what I'm doing at the time. So yeah, today we are talking about just knitting works in progress. I've got my blanket to show you, just to remind you I haven't done anything on it. I don't think I've worked on it in about 4 weeks, you know, and it's about that long since I was here last on my podcast. So yeah, I've got a couple of book acquisitions to show you, some vintage magazines, some socks. I'm working on a pair of socks at the moment. I've got some future plans for socks, so I'm going to show you that. And I've got something to show you that's a lovely viewer sent to me in the post as well a few weeks ago, and because I haven't been on, I haven't managed to be able to show you what she sent me, so I thought I'd do that today as well. So we'll get on with that first, and we'll have a look at the package that came in the post, because I got happy mail. So this is how it arrived in this bag here, and it came with a lovely little note. It says, "Hi Hazel, I hope you can use the enclosed items. I was given this from our craft class. The material we have plenty of different colours and patterns, but I've just enclosed one. We make gardening aprons with pockets, and it's our best seller for our charity. I hope you are pleased. Best wishes, Val." Thank you, Valerie. That's a lovely gesture, and what sending me in the post. It's a lovely gesture that you sent me, so thank you very much. I much appreciated. So I'm just going to show you all now what she sent me. She sent me these lovely embroidery threads, which is something that I do want to do actually. I do want to learn embroidery. It's not something I've done very much of. So there's all these lovely little threads in there. There's quite a few. There's probably about 10, 12 different colours in there, so I could definitely do something with them. Then this is the fabric. It's beautiful fabric. I was thinking of making a project bag out of it and an apron for dyeing. This is the fabric she's sent me. Lovely colours. And I'm not sure how much is on it. I think there's about 1.5 meters maybe. That doubled. So probably maybe just under 2 meters. So yeah, I always like having fabric. I used to work in a fabric shop, and I always love buying fabric. Whenever I go back to see my mother-in-law, I always go to this particular shop where I used to work, and I always manage to find something nice to be able to take home with me. Usually something with sheep on, or something gardeny, something nice and dainty flowers or something like that. But that's the fabric that she sent me. Thank you, Valerie. And also in the bag, very kindly, can't believe that she sent me this. It's 4-ply Jaeger wool, and it's a wool silk blend. I don't know whether you can see the label. There we go, there's the label. It's got beautiful sheep on it. It's a wool sheep blend, and it's 60% wool, 40% silk. Sorry, I've disappeared again. It's 60% wool, 40% silk, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 balls of that. So do you know, I might get another ranunculus out of that. I was thinking of that. But there's 115 metres on each ball. So that is 600, what's 6 15s? 30, 90. So 690 metres. So that's a good amount, isn't it? And then she also sent me this as well, which is lovely. This lovely black colour. It's an Italian brand. And it's 100% virgin wool. So I'll get a nice hat out of that for the winter. Maybe put that with some hand spun. Be quite nice that, because it's got a lovely grain to it, a lovely twist. So maybe I could put that with some hand spun, and that would be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, so thank you very much, Valerie. That was very, very kind of you to send me that in the post. I always love receiving wool. I always love it when I haven't bought it and somebody says, oh, would you like this? So yeah, wool's always a welcome gift, and so's fabric. So yeah, I can make something nice with that. Maybe a project bag and maybe an apron for when I do my dyes. So I've got some nice vintage patterns in the house for aprons. So that might be quite nice. So thank you, Valerie. And as I say, I want to do some embroidery. I'd like to learn, because we've got some friends who've got children, and they were here the other day and they were asking me to show them how to do the French knot, and I've only done it a couple of times and I couldn't remember how to do it, and then when I did what I thought I needed to do, it just didn't work. So if little people are going to be asking me to teach them things, I'm going to have to know what to do, aren't I? So yeah, because I don't have children of my own to be able to pass these skills on to, so if they're asking me to teach them something, I really would like to be able to teach them. So yeah, so these embroidery threads are going to come in very handy, so thank you very much. So that's that. So I have got a couple of acquisitions. I have bought a couple of books off eBay. I did get some little vintage magazines in the charity shop, so we'll have a look at them towards the end. I've been working on my waistcoat. Just a sec. Let me sort myself out so I can show you what I'm working on and stuff. Let's get started, shall we? So I've been working on the waistcoat that I said in the last podcast that I was going to start, and that's that one there. It's got this lovely lace detail going down the front, and it's the same on the back. But I decided I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough wool, so I've decided just to do the lace detail on the front, and then on the back I'm just doing stocking stitch, and I'm just coming up to the armholes. I'm about 4 centimetres short of the armhole, I think, and this is what I've got so far. Now I'm loving this wool. It's a Twilly's wool called Freedom Spirit, and it was one I bought must be about 15 years ago now, when I went shopping with my mum one day, and they had it on offer. I think it was 79p a ball. I never pay full price for wool. I always try to get it when it's on offer. But I love all the detail of the colour variation in it. It's got some beautiful colour in it. Lovely colour variation in there. So yeah, it's turning out really well. So I'm really, really pleased. It's got a lovely variety of colours. It's got orange, it's got pink, it's got red. It's got a little bit of dark burgundy in there. So yeah, it's lovely. Very, very nice. I'm very pleased with it. So as I say, I'm about 4 centimetres short of starting the armhole here. And then I'll start working on the 2 front pieces. It's not going to take that long to knit once I get started. I'm not sure if the armhole's going to be a bit tight, so I might do this bit a bit longer here. I don't really want to start the armhole shorter, so we'll have to see. I'll knit it as it says in the pattern, but if I need to, I can always re-knit just this bit here and make it a bit longer, so it goes over my shoulder a little bit further. But yeah, it's a lovely pattern. So this is it. This is the book that goes with the yarn, called Freedom Spirit. I bought this in my local wool shop, but I was knitting that one, and I did knit that one, but I piled on a load of weight and I never ended up wearing it, and I think I got a moth hole in it, so I ended up undoing it and starting again. So yeah, I know I've got enough for that to knit it in the bigger size, and I'm hoping to lose some more weight, and when I do, it'll still fit. So I'm knitting the size 42, because that's what I am at the moment, and that's across the chest here. So I think that if I knit it to the size that I'm going to wear now, then when I do lose some weight, it'll be all nice and loose when I've lost the weight again. So yeah, so that's the pattern. So I'm really enjoying working on that. That's taken me 2 evenings to do that. So yeah, it's a lovely wool to use. It's so soft on your hands. It doesn't give you any pains in your fingers. And yeah, I know I've got enough because I've already weighed it. So that's good. So that's that. And we're getting in a knot. And I'm knitting that on my Knit Pro interchangeable needles. The next thing I've been working on is another pair of socks. I knit this pair, this is just one of them. I knit this pair to my own pattern. I did this, in my last podcast I showed you these. So I decided to cast on another pair, just doing my own pattern again. I'm really enjoying just doing it, the simplicity of not following a pattern. So this is what I've come up with for the second pair. I'm doing a tube knit, it's 1x1 rib on the top, 100% wool, and then this is some vintage wool acrylic, or is it? No, I think it's 100% wool, and then I've done that 100% wool on the bottom there, and then I've done my waist thread on the back. I'm going to undo that and then put the heel in, which is what I did for this one. I did a afterthought heel on this, and I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough of the blue, so I went a little bit further with the green. So I'm going to start the heel right from the beginning, because I know I've got enough wool of that. It's a cone of yarn, so I can easily cake off some more to finish the socks. So they're going to be nice and warm and sturdy for the winter. It's a vintage yarn, the yellow, and I'm just hoping it's going to be comfy, but I'm loving the two colours together. I think they're really nice. So I've just got to do the Kitchener stitch on the toe and then the heel on that. So I'll have them finished for the next podcast. Hopefully have the two done for the next podcast. So they're my two colours. These two colours here. So yeah, really enjoying knitting socks, to be honest with you, because I'm just not in the mood for big projects at the moment. I think I burnt myself out wool-wise with the Into the Wild sweater that I did and the Birkin sweater did. They took a lot out of me thought-wise, process-wise, because I had to alter them so much to make them fit, and I just think I burnt myself out with them, to be honest with you. So I've decided I'm not going to knit a sweater at the moment. I'm doing the Gardengate one. I might try and get on with the colour work on that, because that's a summer jumper, a summer weight. It's a 4-ply yarn, so I might start working on that again, because I haven't done anything on that for, must be since before Christmas. So yeah, I might carry on with that, but I'm just not loving it at the moment. I'm just not loving any knitting at the moment. I don't know what's the matter with me. I lost my mojo, and I think that's why I've not been on and done a podcast. So yeah, but I have started knitting again, just little projects, and yeah, I'm just enjoying the simplicity of it all, I think, because I think it gets too complicated when we just do jumpers all the time. Another pattern that I've been really enjoying, just a sec, it's in my basket. Another pattern that I've been really enjoying is this one. This one here. Really enjoying knitting this one. It's a vintage pattern. It's a 1984 pattern called Oddpins. And yeah, it's a really nice knit. So I've done the back and the front, and I've started the sleeve. But I lost the pattern, typically. I lost the pattern. So yeah, this is what we've got so far. It's knit on alternate needles, a 12mm and a 4.5mm needle. And as I say, I've done the top, done the back and the front, and it's knitting up really nice. That's inside out, sorry. There you go, it's knitting out up really, really nice. So you can see the stitch definition between the two size needles. There you go. And it's a really nice warm mohair. There you go. And I'm looking forward to wearing this one. I've knit it in the biggest size to make sure it fits, but you know, it feels like it's going to be really big. But I'm just hoping. It even looks like the shoulders are supposed to be fitted, so I think I may have knit it in too big a size. Hey ho, put it with a nice summer skirt and wear it on a nice summer's evening, I'm sure it'll be fine. So yeah, that's my retro top. So I've got a front and I've got a back, and I've started the sleeve. There you go. As I say, I lost the pattern, so this is what I've done so far on one of the sleeves. I was going to knit them two at a time, but the mohair is quite fiddly, quite faffy, so I just decided to work on one at a time. So yeah, so this is the front, this is the sleeve. So I'm just hoping, you know, it's just not going to be too swampy. Looking at it now, it's looking like it's going to be really big. So I keep this in my Emma Ball bag with my puffins in their cute jumpers. I'm sure you can find them on the internet. So yeah, this is the yarn I'm using. This one here, nice fluffy mohair. Yeah, it's one I've had from the charity shop a few years ago. Been sitting in stash for ages. So yeah, that's my sleeve on that one. The other thing I've been working on is my shawl. I think I have done a lot of knitting, haven't I? It's my shawl, and this is my Gudrun Johnston hat. Now, I made a boo-boo with this one. I knit it, and I knit it wrong. I was increasing a stitch at each end, and I did that all the way through and tried to make it into a square, and it ended up a skew-whiff square like that, which I'm sure if that's what I was trying to achieve, that'd be fine. But it wasn't. I was trying to do a square to make it into a hat. But instead, I'm working, because I know I haven't got enough yarn to do the square, I'm doing the triangle. So I've got about 90 stitches so far, so I've got to get to 144, and I've got one ball left. I've got this left, so I'm just hoping I'm going to have enough. But I can always make it a shorter triangle, can't I, and just not do as many stitch repeats around the edge. So yeah, this is my Gudrun Johnston hat. I'll pop a picture here for you so you can see it. And yeah, I've knit one before. I've got a grey one that I knit in Gotland yarn. I've shown that on a podcast previously. If I can find it, I'll pop it in the little I button up here for you. But yeah, I've really enjoyed making the Gudrun Johnston hat. It's a really easy pattern to follow. It's on Ravelry. It did used to be a free pattern on Craftsy, if any of you were on Craftsy. She did a course on there on how to knit a full and a half hat. But when I was looking the other day, they're only doing the half hat on there at the moment. She's not put the full hat up there, so I think you might have to buy that one on Ravelry. But if you are registered with Craftsy or aren't registered with Craftsy, they're doing an offer at the moment, and I think it's $1.49 for a year. So in UK money, that's about £1.25. So that's really, really good for a whole year, and there's loads of videos on there that you can access of all different crafts. So yeah, it's well worth having a look. So this pattern I originally did off the Craftsy thing, so I've got that downloaded on my laptop. So yeah, so I'm probably over halfway on the triangle. I'm enjoying the colour. It's not normally a colour that I would wear, but I've got the colours sorted out for my colour combination. I'm using this lilac with this pink, and then this grey, and then if I still need more, I've got this brown. So I think that's going to be a really nice complement to the pink. So I'm really liking that. It's really nice. So yeah, that's my hat. If I can find a link, I'll pop a link in the description bar for you, so that if you want to knit it, you can knit it as well. So they're my colour combination. I'm really enjoying that. I bought these balls of wool in my local wool shop, and there was no label or anything on them, and I think they're 100% wool by the feel of it. So yeah, it's going to be a really nice hat to wear on my neck in the winter, and it'll be a nice boost of colour when the winter comes back around again. So that's my hat. I keep meaning to knit the Kate Davis hat, but I just haven't got round to it yet, because that's a really big pattern. That's a really big hat, and it goes on this big square thing to stretch it as well. So I might do that with this one. I might stretch it out with a triangle stretch, try and make something out of tree branches or something, and try and block it on that. So yeah, so that's all my works in progress for you. As I say, I haven't got any finished objects. I haven't finished anything, and yeah, I just haven't got round to it, to be honest with you. I've been so busy round here with getting the garden organised and building things and putting fences up and changing fences, and yeah, it's just an ongoing project. I'm rebuilding the garden here basically, in the house that we took over 3 years ago, nearly 2.5 years ago, 3 years in October, and yeah, I've been rebuilding the garden. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, do pop over to my other channel, Wildwood Cottage Diary, and have a look, because I've been documenting in the garden vlogs what's happening in the garden and what I've been up to, and the changes that are coming to the garden. So yeah, I do other things in the house and stuff, as I've said, but now the weather's got better and there's so much to do in the garden, I've come outside. So I am doing a little bit of knitting from what I've shown you, but I'm not doing a lot, to be honest with you. I've been looking around on Ravelry for patterns, and I just can't find anything that whets my appetite, that says, you know, you want to work on that, don't you? So maybe I'm just not meant to work on anything at the moment and do other things. I have done some spinning. I bought a new spinning wheel. I've got a Lendrum spinning wheel that I bought on Facebook for £80. It's not bad. It's a single treadle wheel. I'm used to a double treadle wheel. And my Bliss wheel, I can use both feet like that next to each other, so that's like having a double treadle wheel. But this one is just a single pedal, and I do find it's aggregating my ankle a little bit, so I've not used it that much. I am thinking of selling it, but I'm not sure. I also got given a spinning wheel the other day, and I went and picked it up, and it does need repairing and needs restoring, so that's another project for the summer. So yeah, I now have 5 wheels, and I don't really use any of them. So yeah, anyway, the other thing that I've got to show you is my books. I bought this one called Northern Knits. It's a really lovely book. There are so many patterns in here to knit. I love this one. I love that. I think that's gorgeous, and I do think I want to knit that. I just haven't got the yarns at the moment, but it reminds me of the Kate Davis puffin jumper and the puffin hat. I knit the puffin capelet thing that sits on your shoulders, but I've been too big to wear it. I've not got the confidence to wear it, but yeah, I do like that pattern. I like the colour detail at the bottom and the retro green. It's just a really retro pattern, so I might have a go of that. There's hats in there. There's this beautiful jumper. There's a shawl in there. There's all sorts of stuff. There's history to Shetland knitting as well. There's a lot of Shetland patterns in here. Where are we? See what else I can find. Oh, there's those lovely socks. I really like those socks. There's a girl on the internet called Kate Celine. I don't know whether any of you have watched her, but she does this thing called swip swap knitting, and you knit one colour you knit alternate colours on each stitch, so you're doing like a red or a blue, red, blue, red, blue all the way along, and I really like that idea. So I'd love to knit a pair of socks like that so I get that effect. But they're a stripe. I love that bag as well. I think that would make a really nice project bag. It reminds me of the Welsh blankets, but it's really, really pretty. Can you see that? So yeah, I'd like to have a go with that. And also I do like that jumper that was on the front cover. I've got some mohair in the garage, and I think I'd like to dye it myself and maybe knit that. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? So the other one I really like is that. I'm not sure white would be any good for me around here, but it's a really nice jumper. It's really Nordic looking. Oh, there you go, that's a better picture. So yeah, that's one of my acquisitions. I won't show you too much because you need to buy the book. It was about £6 on Amazon, about £6 on eBay. It is an interweave.com book, so it's a good publisher. And this one is an interweave book as well, and this is called the Vintage Design Workshop. Now, it's a brilliant little book. It's got loads of information in it, and it's all about vintage patterns and how to adapt vintage patterns to today's shape. So yeah, it's a really good book. She's got lots of stuff in a bit of a Susan Crawford sort of vibe to it, but she shows you how to read vintage patterns, how to adapt vintage patterns, how to work out your size to go with the vintage pattern, how to adjust patterns, how to source the yarn. So she goes into a lot of stuff, how to adjust necklines on there so that they'll fit you better, how to adjust sleeves, how to add length. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. There's a whole chapter on adjusting the length of a pattern. So yeah, that one was about £6 as well on eBay. So I've got loads of vintage patterns in my workroom in the garage. So I'll be able to look at this book now and try and work out sizing and things like that for knitting. So that's really good. So that was that book. This one is Geraldine Warner, and it's Vintage Design Workshop. I'll put a link in the description bar below for you. And this one is Lucinda Guy Northern Knits. That one. So that's those two. And then I was going around the charity shop and I couldn't resist buying these golden hands. I have a couple of books of golden hands. These are very popular in the 1970s. I'm a 1970s child, so I remember these things very well. You get kids stuff on the back. These were 50p, by the way. It's got crochet in here. It's got this beautiful, I got this one for the jumper. I really like the jumper. It's like a t-shirt. So yeah, I really love looking at these vintage things. Taking things to the cleaners, lampshades. And I got this one because I like the waistcoat on the front. Nice granny square waistcoat. They're becoming very fashionable at the moment, wearing granny squares in jumpers and things. So I'm thinking of doing that. There it is. Nice vintage picture. So yeah, I had fun looking at those. Oh, this one as well. That cloak. Very fetching. And then that shawl. These are crochet, by the way. So yeah, there's a few bits and bobs in there to have a look at. There's a couple of kids patterns. There's the shawl pattern off the front. And there's a beautiful bag. Found them 50p in the charity shop and I got 6. So not bad. £6 for all those patterns. So the only other thing I brought to show you is my blanket. But as I say, I haven't done anything on it. I haven't worked on it for ages. I was thinking about it last night and thought I really need to get on with it. But this is my Attic 24 blanket. That's doubled over now. It's getting very long. It's this long. and I folded it double so it's quite wide. But I'm really enjoying it, really loving the colours. Trying to get a variety of the 15 colours that I got, because I was going to knit the granny square blanket and I didn't love it, didn't want to crochet it, so I ended up undoing that. Well, I didn't, I ended up making that into a scarf and giving that to my mum for Christmas, because I'd only done one long panel of 13 squares, so I ended up giving that to my mum, and I've ended up making the rest up into this blanket. I got this off a lady in church. She had the pattern, she'd crocheted it herself, and gave me the pattern so I could crochet it as well. So as I say, I haven't done any on there. I'm hoping I'm going to have enough yarn, but I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going until I run out of wool, and yeah, that's about it, I think. I don't think I've got anything else to show you. Life stuff, just busy around here. When I finish this, I'm going to go and start putting some fence posts in around a new patch of garden that I've got off the farmer. He's let me use some of the field. I'm going to put polytunnel up and grow some vegetables, so that's really exciting. The hens are doing well. I've still got my 4 hens. They're laying every day now. One of them's gone a bit broody, so she's going pip, 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 hence the name Pippa. That's the black one. Yeah, so everything's going really well at the moment. So I'm hoping to get on with some more crafts, but the garden is just taking up a lot of my time. So yeah, anyway, I think that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed my podcast. I'm sorry that I haven't got a lot to show you, but it's been lovely to talk to you. It's been lovely to come back and catch up with you all. I hope to be back next week. And I haven't forgotten about the drum carding series. I have just got the ending to finish on the dizzing episode that I did. But it's just been too cold to go in the garage. We still have frost up until last night, and it's the middle of April. So it's just been far too cold. I've just been sat in the house in front of the fire or working outside trying to keep warm. So now the weather's getting a bit better, so I'll get back in the garage and get that finished for you. So anyway, I'm starting to waffle, so I'm going. So I'll see you all soon. Thanks very much for joining me today. If you do like my video, please do like and subscribe. Please do hit the notification bell, and YouTube will share my videos around YouTube for me. And I will see you again next time. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care, and bye for now. Bye bye.